Hello, everyone. Here we are, the last few videos for this series on joyful practice. And today I want to talk to you about the biggest objections that students have to joyful practice. So, truthfully, objections usually don't come to you in the form of language, at least not verbal language. You will get a ton of body language, which you will understand anyway. So in our house, we use the words implicit and explicit a lot because we're language lovers at our house. Basically, our motto is, why use a 5-cent word when a $10 word will do? So let's do some short definitions here. Implicit means that something is communicated, but it's not clearly or directly stated. Explicit is the opposite of that. It means that you are communicating something as clearly and directly as possible. So I'm actually going to split this video into two videos, one for implicit objections and another for explicit objections. And I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to answer these questions as though I was actually talking to a student. So let's start with the easier ones. Let's start with explicit objections. So here's the question. Why does it matter how I feel while I practice as long as I get my work done? Yeah, I've been really harping on you recently that you aren't having enough fun. I'm constantly telling you that. You're not having enough fun while you play and while you practice. And I can see why you're asking me this. So let me tell you a story. When I was learning to drive, my dad used to tell me there is a right way to be a driver and a wrong way. If you're going to take care of this car, if you're going to take care of the engine in this car and make sure it's treating you right, it will drive you wherever you want to go. But Alison, if you don't take care of this engine, it's not going to take care of you. It will stop you in your tracks. And maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, if you don't treat this car right, it will not treat you right. So he taught me how to take care of my car so I would always have a reliable vehicle. But I had this friend in college. She was a super sweet girl, an amazing horn player, but she didn't really pay attention to her car that much. One time we actually get in the car and I noticed that her check oil light was on. Now here's the thing. Not having oil in your car can completely destroy the engine. It can essentially explode it. So I asked her, how long has that light been on? And she told me, oh, it's been on forever. I can't remember. And I got worried for her. So I asked if I could help her with it. And she said, no, it's okay. My dad will take care of it when I get home, because she didn't know how. Well, she never got home. On her way home that day, her engine completely died on the side of the highway. It was so bad. It was so bad because she had driven with no oil for so long that she had to have her whole engine replaced. It was so expensive and she couldn't drive for a long time. Joy when you're practicing is like oil for your car. You can practice, you can drive your brain without joy for a while, actually. But if you don't practice enjoying your practice, enjoying playing your instrument, your practice will end up dry. You'll struggle more than you need to. Your brain will start sending signals to you that you don't want to practice, which is that check engine light. It's the big red flag because music should be joyful, even the hard stuff. Eventually, if you don't have joy in your practice long enough, you'll stop playing. You'll just quit. And just so you know, long term, you won't love that decision. I've never, ever met an adult who has told me, oh, yeah, I used to play an instrument and I quit. And boy, I'm so glad I did that. I am loving not being able to play an instrument anymore. So I have a message from older you. Thank you so much for learning how to enjoy practicing. It is amazing being an adult who can play an instrument. Next objection. If joy is so important while I practice, why don't I just play things that I enjoy? Why do I have to do all these scales and arpeggios and exercises? Okay, I want you to listen very carefully because I'm going to say something I want you to remember forever. You ready? You cannot truly love something that you do not deeply know. Think about it like this. Have you ever had a friend and you liked them a lot, but then you learn something new about them and you feel closer to them than you did before you knew that thing? Because think about it, your best friends, your very best friends, you haven't always just had fun together. When someone is your best friend, you've usually gone through something hard with them. It's part of what makes you close friends. And it means that you actually know more about each other than other people know about either of you. It's the same way with everything in life. You'll enjoy video games more when you know more how they work, and you'll get more skilled at doing things in the game. You enjoy the game more than someone who doesn't know the game as well because you've done something hard in the game. When you get better at a sport and you know how to do more things, you love the game more than kids who are just starting that sport. Your music is the same way. When you're playing your scales, you get to know music deeper. You become better friends with it. And then the music makes you happier because it's a closer friend to you. Now, if you can make learning the hard things more fun, that's the good stuff, baby. That's the fast track to becoming best friends with music, to being varsity at music. Next objection. These eggs are so irritating. I can practice so much faster when I don't do them, and they're impossible to make fun anyway. Okay, first, let's do a little math together. Most kids, when they don't practice or when they don't do eggs, they practice by playing something until they get it right, So that means they get it wrong, they get it wrong, they get it wrong, they get it wrong, and then they get it right and they stop. Yeah, the percentages on that aren't great. The chances of them getting whatever they practiced right when they go to play it again is 20%. They have a 20% chance of getting it wrong. And the chances of them getting it right. And the chances of them getting wrong is 80%. I don't know about you, but that is way more frustrating to me to spend the time practicing and then to get it wrong the next time I play it anyway. So this kind of repetitive practice is really important. Here's how to make it fun. Make it a video game. So when I was a kid, I played Super Mario Brothers, the original, because I am 1 million years old. Anyway, when you made a mistake in that game, you died. You had to start the whole level over again. But it was interesting though. We had so much fun playing that game, even when it was frustrating. If you're going to make your practice into a video game, so how would you do that? What would you do if you were going to make your practice be just like a video game? Which video game would you make it feel like? This is something that I'm willing to spend lots of time on. So actually come and find me and we can workshop together how to make your practice more fun. Okay, now speaking of workshopping, the groups we have going are a great place to workshop more about how to create more joy in your students. There are so many more objections that students have. This video could be 1,000,000 years long, but also there are so many more answers than we can cover in a short video. So drop into one of our groups and we'll talk more about how to make this happen for your students.